Asumi is absolutely glowing today.
I'm sick to my stomach. I somehow managed to get through the exams, but my stomach feels so queasy.
Ramparts of Ice, episode number 4. Loco. Here's the thing with this show, guys. It's, at this point, we're 4 episodes in, so we know what the show is handing to us, right? We know what the show's about. We're 4 episodes in. We're about an hour, maybe an hour, a little over an hour of content in. It's technically around, what is that, 40, like 100, like 160 minutes worth of content so far. Dang, that's a lot, actually. So I think we know pretty good about what this show's offering. Now, here's the thing with it is it's interesting, but is it good? That's kind of the question I want to pose to you guys. So let me know in the comments. I agree it's interesting, but does that mean that the show is good? That's the kind of conundrum that I'm in currently. Because as of right now, they keep introducing, they keep forcing, I have to say, honestly, drama. So the end of the episode is a good example of this. Amami goes and he says good morning to Hikawa, right? And he's talking to her about, is it Igarashi is his name? Hold on, let me go back, because he said her name, or he said his name.
Although, you don't really care, do you? Seems like you weren't close friends with him or anything. Just morning practice. I'm steaming from the cold.
Morning practice.
Let me just double check here what his name was.
Oh, by the way, Igarashi was here yesterday.
Yeah, Igarashi, okay? So he's talking about Igarashi. And this was the boy that in middle school, she was rumored to be associated with, which basically ruined her school life. People basically like slut shaming kind of thing, but it was all lies. And Igarashi is not to be forgiven because he allowed it to happen, right? He could have squashed it, but he allowed it to happen. Now that may be because maybe he liked her, right? Like maybe he did genuinely like her and he didn't want to squash it because he didn't also want to squash his opportunity, but he also did nothing, so he didn't defend her. He probably feels like a piece of shit about it, to be honest, which again, I'm assuming. We don't know yet for sure, but we know that he had a reaction when talking about Koyuki, right? When Amami was talking about Hikawa, we know that he got a visceral reaction from it. Now, in that conversation, because she has a lot of trauma, let's just call it trauma, Hikawa overreacts to Amamiya. And he wasn't saying anything bad necessarily, but she jumped 10 steps ahead on why he's talking about it at all. From his POV, right? From his point of view, he's like, oh, I was chatting with the guy that you went to middle school with. You guys seem to know each other. He's like, was this guy pretty popular? He seems like a pretty cool guy. What did you guys think? And again, he doesn't say anything bad. He also even mentions, he's like, you know what? I'm so sorry. Like, talking about junior high is lame, right? It's like, I didn't mean to drum that stuff up. The guy doesn't even go to school here. He's like, but high school, we're going to make new memories and stuff. And she wasn't really listening to him. He didn't say anything bad. He was just kind of trying to be inquisitive, just trying to find out a little bit more about her. Like, what was this and how was that? You know what I mean? And he's like, you know what? Like, my bad. I'm poking around too much. He's like, don't worry about it. We'll just make new memories. He's just being awkward. Again, he wasn't saying anything bad. She was hearing what she wanted to hear and making assumptions that she wanted to make because of her experience. And then she's going to project that upon Amamiya. Now, based on his interaction at the beginning of the episode with Miki, he seems to handle those confrontations very well. He's probably gonna immediately apologize and say he doesn't mean I think he's gonna handle her overreacting well. But the show is creating that forced drama, which, don't get me wrong, is interesting. Okay? So it is interesting. But is it entertaining? Yes and no. The same thing when it comes to Miki. At the beginning of the episode, they were, she ended up crying. she ended up attacking him. She called him out about his hero complex. I think she called it a savior complex. I'm watching the dub for this one. The dub's very good, by the way. I'm watching the dub for this one. She called it a savior complex, but it's a hero complex, right? She called him out, and he admitted like to seeking that, but then he admitted to also like, oh man, like I never meant for it to come off that way or mean like to be that. Like he's like, I get that it seems that way, and maybe even I am. I don't know. He's like, but I didn't mean for it. So they find common ground. So I like the way that their interaction and confrontation ended up coming to a close. I liked it quite a bit. Okay. She also confronts him about, you know, Koyuki and his interest. And he kind of admitted, like, I don't know. Like, I am kind of looking at her like that. He's like, but I don't know really what it means. I'm just interested in her. And if it ends up being romantic, cool, you know? But I don't quite know. So I did like that. Again, was it entertaining? You can argue yes and no. The last thing is in the middle of the episode, the Igarashi guy came and he saw Miki and he acknowledged that she looks different and might even be cute. So there could be something there in the future as well. Lastly, you have Yota, the big guy. Kind of a bystander throughout the episode. So we'll see what ends up happening. You know, obviously the show is about Amami and about Hikawa. They're kind of the two main, and then everybody else is kind of tertiary. They're kind of like their outside characters. I'll give the episode a 7 out of 10. But the question goes back to, and I don't really have the answer, because in parts I'm like, okay, yeah, it's interesting, I like it. And the other parts I'm like, kind of boring. You know what I mean? I think the dub makes it better. This one specifically, I think the dub's pretty good. Unlike some other shows that I've talked about this season. Some people are not gonna let that go. But this dub is pretty good. So I don't know. I have mixed feelings about this show. In one part, I'm a little bit bored. On the other part, I'm really interested in the content. The drama feels forced, but I like the drama. So it's like, I don't know. It's an interesting question, but let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Of course, I'm gonna keep watching. I like the show. I just, at times, I wonder, okay, what's the point? All right, I'll see you guys next week for episode 5.